Hello Internet folk, and hello to the Tiddlerhood. A follow-up video to that last little silent one I did. Uh, I just Now that I've had an opportunity to think a little bit about what I want this tool to do, how I want to architect the thing, and how I want to make it useful as a standalone application meant to generate CSS for other TiddlyWiki instances. Um, Anyway, let me show you what I've got so far. What I've got here is a CSS Classes Manager. This is the main screen, or the main interface for editing existing CSS classes and creating new ones. And let's just take a peek at the one I've got created already. The idea is to have an editor, a visual editor, that has all of these attributes, CSS attributes, and boy, there's a lot of CSS attributes. I've got a lot of work to do ahead of me if there's interest in this thing. And as long as I'm not, if there's no interested and I'm not bored, I'm going to keep playing with it. If there's no interested and I get bored, I'm going to stop. Anyway, so the idea is to have a nice editor with a point-click, interface, and the ability to see a sample TiddlyWiki widget or HTML element, see how it looks like as we change the properties. So, for example, if I wanted to change the background color of this thing a little bit to some kind of light green color, right, or dark green, I can see on the fly as I'm changing it what the sample looks like. And once I'm satisfied with that, great. And alter the color of this thing and change the weight of the font to bold, for example. So I go play around with the attributes and get to see on the fly what the changes look like, and with the ability to, if we don't want to enter any text, a sample text to see what it looks like, we can leave that blank, or we can type in some text. So let's say open in modal window. So let's say that's the kind of thing we want to see in our TiddlyWiki, all instances of buttons that are of this class. And so the intent is to at some point have all of your visual TW widgets available and the various HTML elements and whatever attributes we can set up for that for them, including border color, whether there's a border or not, you name it. There's a ton of CSS attributes. The idea is to be able to do this in a visual way so you don't have to type any of this out. Once we're happy with how our CSS class looks, I've got a dynamic style sheet maker that takes the results of the work we did, and that work is in a data tiddler. Kind of useless on its own. We want that in a style sheet. And that's the whole point of this thing right here, that it dynamically reads all of our data tiddlers that have the CSS class tag and generates the CSS for us. Now, we could copy this and paste it wherever we need it, whether it be TiddlyWiki instances, HTML files, wherever you might put a CSS class. But the idea is to have this as a TiddlyWiki first, a CSS generator, to drag and drop the work we do in this app, if we want to call it that, into a TiddlyWiki instance. So let's say we've got some other TiddlyWiki instance open, and let's just move this over to the side so we can see what we're doing. The idea is to take any data tiddlers that have our CSS classes and drag them over into our TiddlyWiki instance, and to also drag this one tiddler, this style sheet tiddler, over as well. Let's import those guys. So however many data tiddlers and that one tiddler here to generate the style sheets. And once we've got those in, you can see we've got our CSS class available to us. The idea is we should be able to now create instances of button widgets. And let's say my button, and it's going to be of the class, and as if I can remember the name of it, I'm just going to grab the name of that and paste that over in here. And if we take a look at the preview, there's the button with the CSS that we created in this app over here for generating CSS. So we're happy with that. Great. Now the idea here is to have you download this application once I've got it hosted somewhere, and then you've got it available to you to then modify your CSS classes there in whatever TiddlyWiki instances you have. So the idea is to at any point take a CSS class you've got in a data tiddler, drag it back over to the CSS Class Builder, import it, and then go ahead and modify it. Again, oh geez, didn't mean to do that. Edit. So let's say that you decide you want it to be bold, and for what it's worth, let's see what it looks like over here. So let's say that you don't want it to be bold. You actually want it to be normal. And let's say you decided to change the color of this. And well, they say don't choose red, so let's choose purple instead. So let's say you decide to go with a dark purple, and now you've decided, yeah, okay, that's exactly how I want my class to look now. If you're satisfied with it, you drag it back, import it, and now your entire TiddlyWiki, every occurrence of a button that you've got defined on that class is now using the brand new CSS. So, we could have this, the entire CSS Class Builder, everything that's needed in every TiddlyWiki instance you've got. I think it'd be best to keep that as a solo application on the side that you use to modify your CSS, and then drag back the data tiddlers back into whatever TiddlyWiki instances you have. At some point when I do have this hosted, you may decide to use the hosted version I've got, so you always have the latest version of the CSS Class Builder application available to you, and you just drag your data tiddlers back in, modify them, drag them back to your TiddlyWiki instances. Something like that. I'm still mulling over how process would work and how the general architecture of this thing what it should be. Anyway, I hope this was informative to you. If you're interested, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, if there's no interest in this, then I'm just going to simply stop working on this when I get bored. But as long as there's interest in this, that's enough to keep me motivated to plug away at it. Anyway, cheers.